SAP Cloud Platform Workflow Management, as part of SAP Cloud Platform Extension Suite, is a service offering to digitize workflows, automate business processes, manage decision logic, and gain end to end process visibility. The inbox application provides a single entry point for business users to access all their assigned tasks in a single place. SAP Cloud Platform Workflow Management can not only be used to extend business processes that are running within SAP applications, but also those processes that are running in any third party applications as well. In addition to that, it can be used in combination with SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation to automate unstructured tasks and repetitive manual mundane tasks as well. It can also consume pre-built workflow content which is available within SAP API Business Hub, and then it can be used within the Process Flexibility Cockpit application by a business expert user. In combination with other services like SAP Conversational AI or SAP Workzone for HR, a broad set of use cases can be tackled. In fact, SAP Cloud Platform Workflow Management allows you to do more with less and allows you to really be freeing up your employees to do more meaningful work with the help of process automation. It ensures compliance and helps you to flexibly adapt your business processes to changing business demands. Onboarding a vendor or supplier in SAP ERP is a critical enabler to run a procure to pay process successfully. It requires collecting and validating data that is needed to register a company as an approved vendor. If the vendor can be verified and onboarded quickly, the customers will have a large planned supply base to purchase goods and services and make payments on time. However, different kind of data needs to be collected for the vendor depending on what is the vendor object is going to be used for. Based on the type of data captured, different personas could be involved to validate them as well. For example, purchasing data of a vendor should ideally be approved by the purchasing department. And the same goes for the accounting data as well. On top of that, there could be other business requirements to capture the vendor data, like for example, getting approval from the GPO office, or usage of shared service center to capture the vendor data, or even inviting vendors to fill in the contact information, the bank information, etc. Such flexibility in configuring the vendor onboarding process is not available by default in SAP ERP, and it requires custom development to achieve the same functionality. The vendor onboarding content package provides an out-of-the-box solution to automate the vendor onboarding process in SAP ERP with approvals from the respective departments. It provides flexibility in choosing process variants based on account group and vendor type. When a request to register a new vendor is received, a pre-configured process variant is triggered in SAP Cloud Platform Workflow Management based on the predefined business conditions. Accounting and purchasing information can be enriched and validated by the respective departments, and only after an approval from all the parties involved, the vendor is created in SAP ERP. In SAP API Business Hub, you will now find content from Workflow Management. And one of these packages available as of today is vendor onboarding. As a customer, you will be able to take a look at it to understand the setup and configuration required. You can also take a look at the artifacts that will be part of the package. Upon provisioning of SAP Cloud Platform Workflow Management in your cloud tenant, you will be able to use the Process Flexibility Cockpit application to discover these packages. It connects to SAP API Business Hub to view and also import them into your SAP Cloud Platform tenant. Once the content is imported into the tenant, you will be able to configure the process variants of the vendor onboarding process. Here, we have three variants of the vendor onboarding process for different kinds of vendor that needs to be onboarded. However, I'm going to create a new process variant to onboard a new vendor at purchasing organization level along with general data, and I'm going to call this as a purchasing vendor. This is equivalent to creating a new vendor using MK01 transaction without payment details. If I go into the edit mode of this variant, I am presented with an easy to understand no-code, low-code tooling to define the variant. The default variant already has steps to capture the general data and also to post the vendor details to SAP ERP. I can drag and drop pre-built process steps to enrich vendor details with purchasing data. I can also add multiple approvals or data validation steps from the purchasing department. The approval process steps can be configured with appropriate input based on which the approvers are determined. Once the variant is activated, it can be used to start the vendor onboarding process. Apart from the process variants, we also have several decisions that are part of the vendor onboarding process. There is one business rule to determine the process variant to be used during the execution based on certain conditions. Here you can define a decision table to determine the process variant to be used based on account group and vendor creation mode and based on what kind of data that needs to be captured for a vendor. You also have a possibility to define additional business validations in the user interface based on country and accounting group using a decision table. For example, you could make certain fields like bill exchange limit, tax jurisdiction, VAT registration number, etc. as mandatory fields for, let's say, the country Germany. In addition, you can also determine who should be the approver for the enrichment task as well as the validation or the approval tasks as well. This is defined as a decision table and the approvers are determined based on account group, country, department, etc. When the process is executed, it's important to take a closer look at the performance of the process. The Prebuilt Dashboard provides out-of-the-box visibility into the vendor onboarding process with several process performance indicators. From every KPI, you can also navigate to a set of vendor that is contributing to the performance indicator. You can also navigate into a single vendor to take a closer look at how they are performing, if they have any issues, and the path it has taken. This will be key to identify, especially if there are delays in onboarding a vendor. This can be easily configured, especially if you want to add any navigational action, let's say to navigate into the SAP ERP system or perform any escalation workflows. You can also change the representation or add new performance indicators, and with a simple activate, the dashboard will be generated for you to consumption. Now let's take a look at an execution of such a process. The vendor onboarding application is a SAP ERP application that is available in SAP GitHub for consumption. We also have documented in the setup guide on how to import this and set it up in your cloud platform tenant. So in this application, you can capture the different information about the vendor, choose the accounting group and choose the vendor creation mode and submit a request to onboard a vendor. So this will internally trigger a specific process variant, and based on that, there will be tasks created for the respective users, let's say in this case to capture the general data in SAP Mindbox application. So after providing all the information that needs to be captured, you can submit the task so that it goes on or move on to the next process steps. So since this was a purchasing vendor, so now we have an enriched purchasing data as well, where someone from the purchasing department will be able to enter the corresponding data. Again, after providing all the information, this can be submitted and followed by an approval of this data that has been captured from the purchasing department. And once all the approvals have been done and once all the data have been captured, the vendor will be replicated in SAP ERP. There are more such live process content that can be accessed from SAP API Business Hub to accelerate the digital process automation within your organization. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.